Change it off a little bit there. This is the um, fantasy draft show. We're going to have a lot of team captains coming in across the board. I'll be joining the party here momentarily. It's going to get noisy. It's going to get ruckus. We're going to have a little bit of fun. All right. Thank you for all the ones that did tune in early to watch the show for the tribute. Here we go. Coming into the party now. In the party we got Cap Ranger, Deuces, Cutter Deeply, Leech, Pants on the Ground, Raging Warrior, Sir Tubbins. All these guys coming out this evening to give you guys the insight and info on their teams, what's coming up, and we'll get some interviews and some round table discussion after what is everything else. But yet again, I'm going to hand the mic over to a good friend of mine and the creator of the WNF Fantasy Draft here, presented by Pants on the Ground, Mr. himself. Pants, how you doing?
Good. How about yourself? How are you, sir?
I'm here, man. I'm here. Thank you for having me here.
I hear you, man.
Thanks for having me, and let you go ahead and do introductions and everything for everybody, and then we'll get this underway.
Yes, sir. So I'm excited. I really can't wait for tomorrow. There's going to be some good matchups. I think all three matchups are going to be great. I mean, you got two top teams. I know On Your Six isn't listed as a gold team, but we all know they're a gold team. They're just a good team. Immortals, one of the best. They've been around for as long as I can ever remember. And they truly are one of the best teams in the league. So that's definitely going to be a great matchup. Then you have Nightmare and you have UGCC going at it, and that's another great matchup. UGCC and Nightmare played each other in WCL. We've played each other a lot in the past, good friends. So once again, that's going to be another great matchup. New Beginning, a relatively new clan. Eye for an Eye, another relatively new clan, are going to be playing each other in the 10 p.m. game, and I'm also excited to see that one. That's going to be a great battle of two up-and-coming clans. And mark my words, this time, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you look at these two teams and they're both going to be powerhouses. So with that said, just to fill you guys in a little bit of what this is World of Tanks Fantasy Tank Draft Live. So in essence here, everybody's competing for a Tier 8 premium tank. So just to go over the rules real quick for all those joining in, maybe you haven't read the post, maybe you haven't seen this, and maybe you just found this on Facebook where I just posted it and said, oh, gee, I'm going to check it out because I see a free Tier 8 premium tank. So I'm just going to run down a couple of basic things real quick. So what you're doing is you're going to be drafting tanks, or tankers, should I say, who are going to be competing from those 6 teams I just mentioned tomorrow night. You have until 7 p.m. tomorrow night to add a roster. If you've already added a roster and you're tuning in now to find out a little bit more about it, you can edit that roster all the way up to 7 p.m. At that point, it's locked. There will be no more entries. There'll be no more edits. If you edit your roster after 7 p.m., you will be disqualified. Just keep that in mind. So the way it works, you're going to, if you want to look at player stats to pick your team, you're going to go to wotclans.br. wotclans.br. There's also a link to each of those clans in the forum post. You can find them there. You can look at the stats. Those stats will be locked in tomorrow at noon. So as of noon tomorrow, I'm going to record all the information from each clan and what it says they are in their recent WN8. Keep in mind, not the overall, the recent WN8. That is what they're going to be listed as. So you can have the following. You can have 3 Super Unicum players. You can have 3 Unicum players. Okay, Super Unicum is 2,900 plus. Super Unicum. Unicum 2450 to 2899. And 4 great players. A great WN8 is 2,000 to 2,449. And then you can have 5 very good or below, which is going to be 1,999 or below. So other than that, you know the teams that are going to be competing. And what I'm going to do at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Cutter Deeply, who is the team captain of On Your Six. And he's going to give you kind of a list of some of the tankers. And so he's going to give you a list of some of the tankers that you can expect to see from him and his team tomorrow night. And he also might tell you a couple of guys not to pick.
Appreciate that, Pants. Real quick before I get started, Pants. Just to clarify,
Yes,
now you're basing the win 8 off of recents, right, and not overall.
that is correct.
Correct.
It's going to say monthly or
Correct.
recent on WOT clans, but it's going to be the first one you're going to see in the column. It's going to be what's tracking everybody.
Can I ask a
Well,
question?
I'll probably go. Yeah, go ahead.
Is this
Go
based
ahead, yes.
on is this based on damage for their particular match overall? Or
Yes,
for
yes,
each?
sir. That's a very good question. And I guess before we get into all of this again, let me go over that part of it too. Okay. So the way the damage is going to be calculated and the way that you're going to be scored, the players that go out there and compete, okay, they have to play in a match in order to be scored. So for every 100 damage, you will get 10 points. For every kill that player gets, they will get 5 points. An additional 5 points will be awarded to the top damage dealer. I'm sorry, from the top damage dealer from both teams. Okay, so win or lose doesn't matter. The top damage dealer on that team gets an additional 5 points. On the same note, light tankers get an additional 5 points per 100 damage. So if somebody's running around out there in an RU-251, an AMX 1390, T49, and they have a monstrous game, let's say that they do 2,000 damage, okay, just to make it easy. So instead of the 200 points you would get from that, you're actually going to get an additional 5 points per. So you're going to get 300 points out of that, if that makes sense.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I understand that. Totally.
And at the end of this, okay, on that same note, at the end of this, we're not scoring your entire team. Not all 15 players are going to count from your team, okay? It's going to be cut off at the top 6. So you could have had 10 people that had a monstrous game. Only the top 6 picks that you picked are going to count. Okay, so your top 6 highest damage dealer is going to give you an overall score. And that's going to be your score. And the person with the highest score is going to be awarded the free Tier 8 premium tank, which will include the Swedish Tier 8 tank destroyer.
Oh, nice.
And now
Okay,
back
good.
over to Cutter.
Yeah. I'm gonna run down probably the 10 or 11 people that I will have in the lobby, and then I'll run down after that. Probably my starting 7. Obviously, Nerd Kisses Girls will be in there. Batanji, HH Crooklyn, myself, SVT Kill to Live. Then we will also have Sooner Nation. We have Lasers. Far Dragon will be in there. And I can't remember Duck's name right now. Something Calf. King Baka will probably be in the lobby, and if we have one of those guys that can't make it, HM8K420 will also be in the lobby. Those will probably I think that's about 12 people or 11 people just in case. Now my starting 7 will probably be Nerd Kisses Girls, Patanji. If Crooklyn is available, then Crooklyn will probably start. Myself, obviously. Sooner will be starting, and probably Dragon.
So if you had to pick, now I know that you like to use the E4 a lot. I see that on the stream. I see that quite a bit. But if you had to pick a tanker and you had to say this guy is going to put in one of the highest damage, if he's not always the top damage, he's always up there at the top of the list. If you had to pick one tanker on your team that you would call that guy that is probably, and I'm not saying he is the most trustworthy guy, but he is one guy that's always up there at the top, who would that be in your eyes?
You can pretty much count on. I really can't narrow it down to one, but you can pretty much
That's the
count
tough
on
part,
from
yeah.
from my team. Yeah, you can pretty much count on my team. Nerd Kissing Girls, is going to be up there. Crooklyn definitely has the ability to be way up there, and then Silly Calf 577828 will definitely he will be in the E5 that night, and he has the potential. Those three guys really have the potential to put out a lot of damage. Any one of them can put out 3 to 4K per battle.
That's awesome. And is there anything else that you want anybody else to know about On Your Six? Any of the guys playing that night? Anything at all?
I think we're good. I got a lot of guys, man. My guys are all really talented, so it's kind of a those three guys are at the top, but it's kind of a crapshoot for the rest of us, man. Any one of my guys at any time can easily put out 3 or 4K. So
That's awesome. Hells, do you have anything to add?
Oh no, this is it's kind of odd. This is going to be pretty amazing. I don't like saying this, but this is a huge reality. Reality going once we get Tubbins talking. On Your Six has been one of those founding plans running these tier 10s and just absolutely taking the ball and carrying it down the field. They're very, very, very good on aggressive pushes, like the team they're getting ready to go against, which the Immortals are famous for. And so it's going to be great hearing what Tubbins is bringing to the board for players to go against On Your Six. There's a lot of points to be made just with these two teams, and we didn't even got to Nightmare or UGC, UGCC, or Mini Vinny from Eye for an Eye, which he's on mine. I tell you right now, Mini Vinny's is on my team. Due to the simple fact the way he runs his light tanks, and then my other pick over there from MB, I got good friend of mine and a longtime tanker, and I just went absolutely. I'm so sorry, JD. I even
Stinger.
Stinger. Oh, God, it's been
Good
one of
old
those.
KUI Stinger. Yep.
Yep. All right, guys, but yeah, continue on, and let's go ahead and get to Tubbins, because it's just going to be exciting to find out what he's loading.
Yes, sir.
Loading up.
So I know Tubbins may. I talked to Tubbins earlier today, and once again, Immortals is one of the best clans in the game. And nobody can ever take that away from
Bar
them.
none.
They're always in the top. They are a lifetime top 5 team, in my opinion, and that's still going forward. The kind of success that these guys have had over the years is amazing. So with that said, I know Tubbins has a lot of guys to work with, and anybody in Immortals is expected to call them on to be a player and be a starter. So with that in mind, here's Tubbins.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have as good of a list as Cutter. Kind of give you a couple guys, and 2 of my starters are actually EU guys, so that's just not going to fly on Wednesday night, obviously. But so I really wouldn't pick the French guys. But it's a possibility that they show up, but it's very, very unlikely. Out of my guys, you obviously expect me. We should have Jake Delone. He should definitely be there. Walker's always been there. He's always been there for me. I mean, in the last year, the kid always shows up. Stang should be there. Got a couple maybes. Steel gave me a maybe. Steel Titan gave me a maybe. Smill kind of gave me a maybe. I actually probably would have answers for you guys tomorrow. I know Pi said he could show up. And then you kind of dip into what I guess you would call Panda or the second team or however you want to refer to them. I also got Hollow might be a maybe. So unfortunately, I know people listening maybe doesn't necessarily help you. But there's something if you're really, really into it and you want to shoot me a message tomorrow, like on Xbox or on Discord or something, you're really picking out your teams before 7, I'll have more of an answer for you tomorrow. But if you're really into it and you really want to do that, I'll definitely
So
give you
going
an
the
answer.
other way with this, So we talked about some players that may show up. We talked about some players to pick. One thing I would tell people out there, and this is just one tip I'm giving to everybody that's watching the stream right now. You know who the callers are going to be. You're looking at the people right now that are talking. Those are great picks because guess who's going to be playing in almost all the matches? The callers. So Tubbins is going to be one of the best picks you could pick out of Immortals.
Unless I'm leading the charge, yeah.
Unless he's leading the charge. But hey, even know what? You know what?
Tubbins goes
Getting
down
something.
fast when he's leading the push.
You're getting something versus nothing, though. That's what it's all about. You know, you have a guy that's borderline. Yeah, he plays the first game. What if he doesn't play the next 2 or 3 or 4, however many games end up in that series? Because it is best of 3. So some teams might end it quicker than others, and it might be over and you've played 3 games and got nothing. Some teams might draw it out to 5 games. Who knows? But keep in mind, you got a caller. He's going to be in there. You know he's going to be playing every game. With that said, though, I know you said the French guys aren't going to make it. Is there anybody, if you were to look at, excuse me, had to burp. If you look at the WOTclans.br and you were to look at your roster and look at the top players that people see just right up there at the top of Immortals, is there anybody at the top of that list that you would say absolutely do not pick this person within the top 5?
That's going to be... Well,
French
that's
guys.
Gonna be there tomorrow. Well, yeah, I definitely want to take Tweaking. I want to take Motions because I can't really guarantee they're going to be there. If you also want me to give you an answer, I don't even look at that list, so I can't really tell you. Okay. The only thing I would say, if I was doing this, I have some guys on my team that play that really don't necessarily play too many pubs, or might not exactly have the best monthly WN8. I think I named a few. Okay, which means they can actually sneak in and be a one of those lower picks for you, maybe like a Unicum or even, I don't know about a Great Pick, or however else that works. But I mean, if you can get somebody who really honestly plays at Super Kuna, you know, Super Uni level, that's just because they're monthly, because they haven't played this month, they will be playing tomorrow. So I mean, I can kind of give that tip. But as far as my guys go, if we're playing good, nobody's really going to stand out. So it's kind of, I mean, I've been playing with some of these guys for a year, 2 years, okay? And if you actually had to ask me who was going to do better, I really couldn't give you a definite answer, and that's actually the truth. It kind of just ends up where the enemy tanks are and what position, who's ever in the better position is going to get the damage. But ideally, I actually don't really want a guy to have 3K and another guy to have, 1K, if that makes sense.
And that's what makes Immortals a great team, is you guys understand what it's all about. Everybody putting in the work, everybody putting in the damage. And that's what it's all about. It really is. Looking at the Twitch chat, let's see. I don't see anybody other than Magic asking a question.
One thing I might add
that
I know from experience is, unlike Tubbins' list, the Immortals are far more organized when it comes down to a fight. So these 2 teams will probably be one of the better shows on Wednesday night fights, I would say, in a long time.
Absolutely. I'd say it's going to be one of the best.
Tune in to watch it.
Absolutely. That's going to be one of the best head-to-head matchups you're going to see. That's been in a while anyways. There's been a lot of good fights. There's been a lot of good matches. But this is going to be 2 heavyweights really going at it. This is going to be like in a sense, kind of like your Conor McGregor versus your Merriweather. Maybe not the best example in the world, but the hype the hype around it. Take the playing skill out of it. Take the skill out of it. Just take the hype.
Yeah.
But I mean, if somebody is listening and they're actually looking to pick somebody from my team, I really would look. I mean, I haven't checked the monthly thing, but I do have some guys that kind of, play maybe like less than 100 games in big platoons, and their WN8 might be like 2,500, might be like 2,300, and they're not a 2,500, 2,300 player. But that's, I guess, for you to kind of pick. But
Sleeper picks.
I think with this, I mean, nobody's picked me, so
Those
there's
are the
only
value
one person
picks
that picks
sometimes.
me. I definitely will do my damnedest to prove everybody else wrong. I'll tell you that much. But
Yeah, there's
anyway, besides that, I
There's
definitely
Pick
would
Tubbins.
look at that.
there's no denying that
Great.
the Immortals hit way harder than McGregor ever could, so it will be a good fight. That's for damn
Most
sure.
definite. Picky regulars.
Hey man, I watched that
Oh,
fight. I was
great.
hyped for that fight, and it just, oh man. This will be more
I
entertaining.
thank you
for
very
sure.
much, Tubbins, for the insight that you can give us. That's great. That's awesome. It helps a lot, really, and some of these guys now knows. Just to pay attention when it gets closer to time to play. Like I said, my word of advice to all of you is look at the callers. Those are some of your biggest picks. So at this point, I'll kind of talk a little bit, unless Hells, do you have something for Tubbins? I'm going to take that as a no. So at this point, I'll talk a little bit about Nightmare. So
I mean,
we kind of have.
before I take
ahead.
off, I actually have to go. That's why I was
All right.
hoping this
No
was
problem,
a
sir.
little bit earlier. But I definitely, Cutter, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You guys are definitely impressive, dude. I actually think you guys have a good call and actually good. You guys definitely play together. So look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Wish you the best of luck if I don't wish you before the game. And you guys have a good rest of the night, all right?
You too, brother.
Yep, take it easy.
Later, Tubbs. Good luck.
We're
Thank you, sir.
definitely
Thank you very much
psyched
for coming out.
Good luck.
to go in
appreciate
and
it.
face
Thank you,
the
sir.
number one ranked team in the world right now. So definitely psyched.
Well, I'll definitely see you tomorrow. And like I said before, have a good rest of the night, guys. And anybody who's actually listening, if you really want to know something, I'm on Discord. It goes right to my phone. You can just ask me if this guy's playing. I'll give you a yes or no answer. I'm not that mean of a guy. So besides that, you guys have a good rest of the night. I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Slide Tubbins. Good luck.
Thank you.
So, with that said, next two teams up will be UGCC versus. It's going to be UGCC versus Nightmare. That's going to be the 9 o'clock game. So this is two teams that have seen each other quite a bit in the past. It's going to be a good game. It really is. UGCC is coming off their victory in their tournament, World of Tanks Battle of the Clans, where they beat NFTG, and nobody's going to deny that NFTG is a very good clan. They're a top clan, really. If you look at them, they are a top clan. They really are. UGCC came in and they beat them in their tournament. So that really says a lot about UGCC right there. They are a very good team. They really are. They've come a long way since the beginning of WCL, and they only continue to get better. They've made a couple of big additions over the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be a good fight. With that being said, Nightmare, we're kind of in the same boat going to WCL. We were kind of average to, a little bit below average going into WCL, but now you look at us and we got a good roster behind us. So anybody watching the stream right now, if you're going to pick people from Nightmare, I'm going to tell you right now, if we run a light tank, the light tank driver will either be Jesus Crust or it'll be Dola. 9 out of 10 times, though, it's going to be Jesus. And he is a damn good light tanker. He is number 6 in the world on the RU-251. Keep that in mind. Then you also have Dola. Dola, if you've been watching the streams over the past couple of weeks, he's been putting up 3, 4, almost a 5,000 damage game out of his E4. And that's been night in and night out. You also have Maximus, who's probably going to play quite a bit. You have Wits. You have MVG. Those two guys also may do a little bit of calling tomorrow. For anybody that watched the stream last night versus SBA, the game I wasn't in on Proc, I did hear somebody ask who they thought was calling, and it wasn't Wits. It was actually MVG that called that game. You'll have Dirt Rider in there, IR Dirt Rider, and a very good value pick, somebody that's playing at a very good, will be Premium Spammer, who will probably play a couple of games. You'll probably have Smirnoff. And another good tanker, I don't think he gets a lot of good credit for it in Nightmare, would be iPure Nonsense. He's a very good tanker. He's a starting guy. And I think he's playing at either a Super Unicum or a Unicum level currently. OPSK19 will be another good pick. I believe he is available tomorrow night. And I do see a lot of people picking TZM Bloodlust. Now, he's a very good player, and nobody's ever going to take that away from him either. He's a damn good tanker. However, you will not see him tomorrow, and I guarantee you that, because he is in the UK and he has a very strict bedtime. So if you've got him picked, I advise you right now to not unpick him. I also see people picking Hoosier Boy 88, and I'll tell you once again, do not pick Hoosier Boy. He's a very good guy, a very good player. However, he recently had a kid a couple months ago, right when I did, and that has kept him very busy, and he will not be available tomorrow as well. So try to avoid picking those two players. And if you have them picked, I would go back and edit that and get them out of there. I saw another one of Full Armor, FA Full Armor 87. So want to give him a big shout out because he is currently in Marine Corps boot camp. That says a lot about somebody to serve your country. He's there. I wish him all the best, and I'll see him again at this point in about a month and a half. He's been gone about a month and a half from now. A couple other guys you might see from Nightmare would be Carpenters. And I'm probably missing a couple people, so I'm just going to go back and look real quick while I get it up on my phone and see who I missed, because I'm probably missing somebody.
Did you mention Smirnoff?
And I mentioned Smirnoff. Senator Undies might be another one that plays, possibly Unbarred Moon, and possibly Silent. Those guys are all possibles right now. I'd say your biggest picks out of Nightmare would be Jesus Crust, Maximus, Dola, OPS, Pure, Wits, MVG, Smirnoff, Carpenters, Premium Spammer would probably be your top picks. Senator Undies in there as well. And a couple of other guys I probably forgot to mention the second time around. But it'll be a really good matchup. I'm excited. And one thing I forgot to mention that I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna mention right now. I probably should have done this a little while ago, but I didn't. Tomorrow's map picks, okay? We decided we're gonna run the same maps for all the clans. It just makes sense to try to keep it as even as possible. So tomorrow, the first map up is going to be Mines. That'll be the first match. Second match will be Ensk. So you're gonna have kind of an open map, and then you're gonna have a city map. The tie-breaking map, if it goes to a game 5, will be Ravaged Capital. That'll be the tiebreaker match. So
These are all being played on Encounter.
Can you just
or
repeat the
standard?
first
all of them
map,
are
please,
Encounter.
Pamps?
Yes, sir. All of them are Encounter. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Can you just repeat the first map, please, Pamps? So I heard
Okay, so-
second map was Ensk.
All the maps are going to be played on Encounter mode, and the first
Mhm.
map will be Mines. Second map will be
Okay.
Ensk, and the third map, if it gets to that, if we got to go to a tiebreaker, will be Ravaged Capital. Will be the tie-breaking map. So with that in mind, I'm just going to check the stream real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Cav Ranger. So as you guys know, Cav Ranger has been doing a lot of calling, and he does a lot of leading for UGCC. He's a great guy, and a big shout out to him because he has served our country as an infantry, so we all owe him a salute. And he's going to talk to you guys a little bit about UGCC.
What's up, guys? Just want to say thanks for that, and appreciate that very much. Yeah, so normally, like as he said, I've been doing the calling, so and I play in most of the matches, but we've also been trying out a couple new callers. So I'm just gonna name off some of the guys that for sure are gonna play tomorrow. Fishfan 9001. He's been calling for us a little bit lately. He actually called the NFTG game, so he's definitely going to be around. We also picked up Segmented Dig, so and he's for sure going to be around. And then you have Killa Trilla, Astro. We call him Z, but it's because we can't pronounce his name. His name is Zarte. Mr. One Number T is a regular for us. John McClain is another regular for us. Most of those guys, if you watch us, Chocoholic is a regular. BK Flykid is one of our best players. They're all really good picks. Those are our normal guys. We have picked up some new guys lately, and we still haven't gotten around to trying them and getting chemistry with them yet. So I would be careful with some of our new pickups. If you watch us, you might know who they are. Like Halogen would be one. Doc Whoop Whoop was new for us. If I was going to say don't pick anybody, I would say Dodo Naki because he's from Finland and he would have to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to play with us, and he used to do that, but I don't think he's willing to do that very much anymore. Matex is another one of our good players, but he's German. Besides that, most of the guys are on the list. If you look at at the list of our plays, they play most all the time.
So a question I have for you. A question I have: if you were going to say, I would keep if you were to pick 3 people off your team and you said these 3 people are going to give me, if I were to bet you right now $100 and I pick 3 people, and you had to pick 3 people, which 3 people would you pick?
If I was gonna pick
For
three
highest
guys,
damage.
it'd be
highest damage, yes.
Fishfan, Da Fishfan, Killatrilla, and maybe Mr. One Number T, because he's
Okay.
been putting a lot of damage out for us. If you watch a lot of our games though, when we play good, it's kind of like Tibbins was saying about our damage is pretty spread out when we play well. You know, if you got somebody with real high damage, we did something wrong, and we don't. You know, it's kind of like if you ever pull off one of those real like 10,000 damage game and get a bunch of kills. It's probably a game that
Everybody
you
else has
lost.
0.
Yeah, but usually our damage guys are Killatrilla, Fishfan, and Mr. One Number T. Now we do have Sedman at Dig, and Dig's a good player, and he puts out some damage too. I've been known to put out damage, but like I said, most of the time it's pretty even when we play well.
And that's good. And
For-
that's
for-
good. That's
Light tank wise, we don't really have. We used to have a couple guys that were strictly light tankers, but I mean we kind of rotate around. Depending on the lineup, we kind of rotate that responsibility lately, and sometimes we don't even run the light tanks. Sometimes we've been running 2 9s, so and they're not light tanks, obviously. So this is 768, am I right?
You are
So-
correct. Yes, this is 768, and that's a lot of. And I tell people this too. Don't always count on a light tanker because you're going to run
Yeah.
into a lot of situations like that. For instance, you probably won't see very many light tanks running around on Ensk.
Right.
It's just the value isn't there when you could have 2 Conquerors instead, or 2 T10s, 2 heavies, or something that's doing some damage. Where a light tank, you don't really need them to spot anything because the map's so compact. Whereas you look at a map like Mines, you might see a light tank on Mines because, well, everybody's trying to take that hill, or you need to get that early vision. And once again, like we were all talking about before the stream started, knowledge is power. In the words of Cav Ranger there, knowledge is power. And sometimes you're trading knowledge for damage. When you have a light tank, you're not counting on him to do a lot of damage. You're counting on him to get you some knowledge. And that's just something you might not need a lot of on a map like Ensk, or even Ravage Capital for that matter.
But yeah, I mean you're 100% right, and thanks for quoting me there too.
No problem.
So guys, for sure. Like if I wasn't gonna pick anybody on my list, it would be Dodo, Matex. If you guys don't know, me and Sticky, King Sticky are co-leaders. Sticky started a clan, but I've kind of we look at each other as equals. He doesn't battle with us a lot. He does a lot of the the PR stuff for us, where he's running our tournament or stuff like this. So he doesn't normally battle with us. Who else? Also, Apex Rex. He's in the army and he's been out in the field a lot lately. So I don't know how much he'll be around. But besides that, Copen Fnatic has decided he likes Rocket League. So he hasn't been around so much lately. But besides that, everybody else is pretty active. Oh yeah, another one.
That's awesome.
420. He's a Canadian truck driver, and he plays when he stops. He uses his hotspot, so he's kind of sporadic too. But besides that, everybody's pretty active.
That's awesome.
And and just
It's
to
awesome.
repeat if I was gonna pick 4 guys, I'll just say 4 guys. If I was gonna pick 4 guys, it would be. I'll just tell you my starting lineup usually, because we start with the same guys, and then we try to play everybody. So, Fishfan, BK Fly Kid, Dig, myself, Z. It's Zarte, or we don't know how to pronounce. We just call him Z. And then Mr. One No T, IT. We just call him T. So, and John McClane are all the usual starters. But then Coagulant's around. Astros around. Toaster comes, but everybody else besides who I said is pretty much, they'll be around.
And that's great. And there you have it, guys. That's UGCC and Cav Ranger, who, as he just told you guys, is the co-leader of UGCC. Want to wish him well and thank him, and definitely from me as a Nightmare player to Cav as a UGCC player. Good luck
We
tomorrow.
always, because we enjoy playing you guys a lot.
Thanks, sir.
You're one of the first clans that we ever played competitively at WCL.
Yes.
So we enjoy playing you. So, all right, gentlemen.
And-
I'm supposed to be having a battle right now, so I'm gonna jet on out.
Absolutely, and we thank you for your time.
All right.
Have a
And
good one,
good luck
sir.
tomorrow, and we will see you then.
Yeah, good
I'll
luck
see you
tomorrow,
guys. I'll
Kev.
see you
Thank
guys
you.
tomorrow. Deuces, Cutter, Leech, Pants,
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
Raging. I'll see you guys.
Later, man. Good luck.
See you later, man. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm playing 48 AD in a scrim, so see how.
Good
see
Good
what
luck, sir.
goes
Go
on.
get him.
Yep.
Good
All right, I'll talk to
Ooh,
you guys
you go
later.
face a steel wall. Have fun going against that iron curtain.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. If everybody doesn't know, I found those guys and I got them to play competitively, and I don't know if I'm
That's
gonna regret
awesome.
that yet because they can be pretty good. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Take care, sir. And on that same note, what Cav was just ending that on, I want to point something out that a team that was big for a while, and I haven't seen him around yet. I'd kind of like to see him come back and start playing competitive again, and that's Apex and Apex One. It kind of seems like I haven't seen any of those guys in a long time, and there's a lot of them out there. So if any of those guys are out there listening, please get a hold of somebody. We want to see you guys play again on Friday Night Fights, Monday Night Meltdown, and then eventually maybe on Wednesday Night Fights. But if you're out there listening, get a hold of somebody and let's get you guys back in this, huh? So with that said, so the final matchup of the night, and this is going to be the one, I guarantee you, this is going to be the one that people are going to be hinging on right here, is New Beginning versus Eye for an Eye. Like I said earlier in the stream, you have two up-and-coming teams going against each other. You have Eye for an Eye, who kind of exploded on the scene and just kind of wreaked havoc on the Bronze Division. And you have New Beginning, who split off with Nightmare. For those of you that aren't aware, Nightmare and New Beginning are related, and they have become a powerhouse in their own. Both teams have moved from the Bronze Division and they've moved up to the Silver Division, according to Wednesday Night Fights. And it is going to be one hell of a good matchup between the two clans. And this is going to be the matchup where you're going to see the guys with the value picks, with the very greats, or I'm sorry, the very goods and the greats, where these guys are going to be making you all the money. They're going to be your value picks right here. And both clans, now don't get me wrong, both clans have super Unicum players in them. Both clans have Unicum players in them. And they have some damn good players all around. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to Eye for an Eye Deuces.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing pretty good. Well, I can say for everybody's probably wondering who the caller has been for Eye for an Eye. I've took that role here lately for a while. A lot of people didn't know who the caller was. So, I mean, in the beginning, I kind of, we just did our own thing and everybody called, and amongst the confusion, we just kind of settled on a couple different people. But majority of the time I'll be calling. Now, for the fantasy, I did notice a couple people have some people picked that necessarily aren't going to be playing. The people you can count on playing for us is me, Mini Vinny, Scrat will be there, Big Ron. Bison is iffy. His schedule is a little weird at times. Michael will be there. Courteous Virus is another one that is schedule related. Of course, Eye for an Eye HK will be there. Stoner is a Raging Stoner is a maybe. We've got Firebugged as a maybe. And Fish is so again, you know, once again, schedule related. If I had to pick 3 people out of those that you could guarantee to be there every time, it would be myself, Vinny, and I guess I would go possibly Michael. There's another one you can definitely count on being there as well. I don't think I got him in the first round there.
You did, but I have a couple questions for you right now. A couple questions.
Shoot.
So we did talk a little bit before the stream started, and I do have 2 questions for you. I'm going to throw you for a loop on this one because I didn't ask you this earlier. I want to touch a little bit on Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael's kind of new to you guys, am I correct?
He is correct. He is new
And
to the Eye for an Eye.
which
But
clan did he come from before he was in Eye for an Eye?
It would be 8, Law of 8.
Okay, and real quick, for everybody right now that's listening to this stream that may not be familiar with Law of 8, Law of 8 is a WCL Gold team, which means they were in the top 32. Or I'm sorry, is it top 16 or top 32? I get confused. with the numbers
16.
sometimes.
It's 16.
16. Okay, I'm sorry.
16.
So
Now,
they were.
I just want to clarify too that
They
Law
did get
of 8,
knocked out, I believe, but
They did.
Yes.
And B actually took their spot,
which is their sister clan.
yes,
so-
sir.
which
Yes,
is correct.
indeed.
Yeah.
But Law of 8 is also one of the OG clans from
Yeah, very experienced.
and this is like from the start when PG was PG, NFTG,
WCT2.
and and then you had Law of 8. Those guys had their rivalry, and then of course TNG. So yeah, you're talking these guys mad loads of experience. Go ahead, Pat. Their pants. I'll shut up now.
And that's why I wanted to touch a minute on that right there. I just wanted to give the stream viewers right now just a little taste of who he was, and that could be a good value pick for anybody. The other
he's
thing I
got
wanted
lots
to
of
ask you
experience.
is, I know you guys have a light tanker who loves to play light tanks, and he does it quite a bit.
Yeah, it would definitely be Mini Vinny. He's a light tank
Whoop, whoop.
enthusiast. Great player, great guy to be around. Personally been running with him since day one. For a lot of people who don't know, Eye for an Eye has actually been around long before clan tags even existed. There for a while, we did merge with R1, which I can't necessarily say was a bad mistake, but I can't necessarily say it was a good experience. I mean, it was a learning experience, I can say that. Unfortunately, we all had a fallout, and we decided to go back to our roots and just reopen Eye for an Eye, which actually never left. I don't know why I said reopen. But one thing I did want to address is that some of the people that have, I noticed that have Diddy picked, Diddy and CF Quinto actually is starting up our second division, which is actually up and running and active. They're going to start trying to claw their way through the bronze division. So I don't know if that affects the picks there. With the fantasy league, considering they're just now starting, but that is something to definitely keep in mind.
That is a big one to keep in mind, and I would highly recommend, if you have any of those tankers picked, to please go back and look at Eye for an Eye's roster and double check if those
Correct.
people in fact still are even on Eye for an Eye, and they're not in
Correct.
Eye for an Eye Dash. Is that your new clan, Eye for an Eye Dash?
That is Eye for an Eye Dash. That is the
That'll
second
get you
division.
sometimes.
I mean,
That right there.
and
can get
and, and I want to touch a little basis on that as well, if you guys don't mind. The reason why we
Go ahead.
started Eye for an Eye Dash was we had so many people willing and ready to play that we wanted to make sure everybody got playtime. We try to be equal. We try to be fair. So, we also had a lot of newcomers come to the clan as well. Which obviously caused a little chaotic moment there. With everybody wanting to play and not enough spots. Obviously to play. So that's why we started the second division. And I've got real good faith in them boys. They're still, ironing out the kinks and adjusting, but just give it time. I think they're, very well capable of being a Silverlink team as well, if not gold.
It's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And for everybody just tuning in, Eye for an Eye, running down their tank rosters and their picks, and they've given us some good insight as to what we can look for and who we can expect to see. And once again, I'm excited to see this matchup again between Eye for an Eye and New Beginning. So I think it'll be a great matchup. And there's nothing like even a friendly rivalry, any type of rivalry at all. It's
No, not at all. We try to
fun
be,
to see.
Hell yeah, we try to be respectful towards everybody, equal to their own, try to be treated as you want to be treated, and but come game time, we put our game mask on and we get down to war.
Absolutely. And if you want to hang around, you're more than welcome to hang around. And we do thank you for coming out tonight and talking a little bit about Eye for an Eye and we
Oh,
are
not a problem.
definitely
I
excited to see you
appreciate
guys
you.
play tomorrow.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, and I just want to give a big shout out to the guys that are listening on Twitch. I know Bison's probably listening, HK, and I seen Vinny just got home. Shout out to you guys, Diddy as well. And one thing, for you guys that don't know, CF Quinto and Burned Out will be our callers for the second division. We're still working on kinks with that, like I said, but just go ahead and throw that info out. That way everybody has got that, and maybe they can keep an eye on that for next fantasy.
Absolutely, and we thank you again. And Hells, Leech, any of you guys have anything to add? Cutter?
If we got about 5 minutes, I'd like to run through Eye for an Eye, New Beginnings, UGCC, and Nightmare. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
real quick.
And then we'll go over to New Beginning right after that. So yeah, go ahead, Cutter.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Yeah, go ahead and do New Beginning. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
spaced a
for
little
all
bit.
of you who maybe just tuning in, maybe didn't hear me earlier when I said this, but New Beginning, NB, in other words, is kind of like a clan related to Nightmare. We have two competitive teams, Nightmare and New Beginning, and they've come a long way. They have come from what I'd say is the bottom of bronze, and they've made their way into silver, and they just keep getting better and better. They're at the point now where they are starting to become a very strong team and a very strong silver team. And I think soon enough you're going to see them start competing up towards the gold spot. They have made some super pickups over the last couple of weeks. They have got some absolutely amazing players in this clan, and they have a really strong leadership structure. They have what I'd arguably say is one of the best core groups of leaders that anybody could really ask for, as far as being stand-up guys and being committed and just doing what needs to be done. On that same token, they have a great core group of guys that show up week in and week out, and these guys have actually been playing together now for a little bit of time, so they're just starting to gel, and they're just really starting to become the team that really everybody wants to see them become. So without any further delay, we'll turn it over to Raging Warrior.
Thanks, Banks. How you doing, bub, anyway? Before I say anything else about our team?
We're doing good, sir.
Warrior.
You're good. Hello, House. Yes, so talking about MB, as you said, fans that we are been upcoming and everything else. So yeah, we've been doing really well. As you mentioned, we brought some new picks into our clan. But touching on what's been said on the forums about Lonky. Now, I'm gonna say now that Lonky won't be there tomorrow night, and I wouldn't even pick Creamy either, because he's not gonna be there. He's not gonna be there tomorrow night either. Especially for Lonky, she's been rather busy at the moment for the last couple of weeks. So if it's like a weekend thing, she'll be
She's picked
exactly
quite a bit.
change that pick.
Change it. Go change it.
Please change
now.
it, because she will not be playing tomorrow night. Now, callers wise,
Who would you pick in her stead?
I would. Do you know what? I'd say be on the safe bet. Stinger. I'd be a safe bet. Stinger or probably Zach's music box.
Warrior.
In hers. Or myself. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a big. It's one of the. Sorry to chime in. With all these teams on your 6th, Eye for an Eye, New Beginnings, Nightmare, the Immortals. Even back when we first started, Tubbins and all them were back behind us. UGCC here recently have definitely come on board. I could say me as who I am. Have huge loyalties to Eye for an Eye. I'm an Eye for an Eye fanboy, and MB love these guys.
We're glad to have you.
And then NB, I watched these teams grow, and Nightmare, and then you picked some of the most hardest teams, Pants, to go against each other, And
Yeah,
That was half the battle, man.
Well,
oh
yeah.
my God,
Well,
dude!
I think, but hang on a minute.
it's like
hang
nail
on a
biters
minute.
every time.
But
I'd
go
say
ahead,
Pants has done the
Warrior.
right thing, though. I'd
Yes,
say
he
Pants
did.
has done the right thing because you've
Hmm?
got the best informed teams at the moment on Wednesday night fights tomorrow night. So, you know, it's going to be really good matches going on. So I'd say
Yeah.
to all teams, good luck on that because
And
it
real
will be
quick,
quite a dogfight. Go on.
real quick, just to touch on that a little bit, and what Hell said and why I had to pick these teams. So my thought process behind this was, and I'm not saying people here that aren't here aren't dependable, but you had to really take a look and say what would be number one, equal matchup, and number two, need both of these teams to show up, or all six of these teams, because let's face it, if you have a team not show up, that is absolutely going to destroy anything fantasy related because you don't get a redo at this point. It's over. So when I asked these teams, and I did approach all these teams to play in this match, when I approached these teams, I wanted 6 teams that I knew would show up and put on a good game. There were a lot of other teams out there that we could have picked, and they would have done the same thing. They'd be here right now, and they would have all been good picks. But trying to keep it as even as possible and trying to put on a good show. Back over to Raging.
Thank you. So, as I was saying, so Lonky, don't pick her. Just don't pick. I'd say probably that the regular picks you should be going for is probably myself, as I'm the main caller of MB. The other 2 callers that I have under MB is probably Stinger and Kiryu. Now, Kiryu, I wouldn't question on. I probably would take him out just to be on the safe side because I think around about 10 p.m. Eastern is quite a bad time for him on a Wednesday. So I'd say probably change that one as well if anybody's picked him on the forums. Now, other players that I guarantee to be played tomorrow night, I'd say probably Rage Shannon Monk. He's another one. Death Dealer, he's another one. I'd say Mythic Monster. Now, he's come into the clan recently. He's been there since the beginning for me, since I started up with somebody else with AEG. And that was going some time ago, but he's been there with me the whole time. So he's probably another pick I'd suggest picking for tomorrow night, especially Wednesday night's fight against Off. He produced one of the, a very high amount of damage with his object. So I'd probably say I'd see that again. Another one I'd say probably Stinger, as I said, another one. He's a regular. And another one I'd say Zach's Music Box. If you haven't chosen him, there's another one I'd say.
So there's one
choose.
name. There's one name I see a lot of out of New Beginning that you didn't touch on, and so I want to touch on that right now because I've seen this guy in quite a few different posts, and that's going to be, I'm going to call him Ricky, Rock Yoda. Is he going to be there tomorrow to play?
Oh, good question. Now, Ricky Yoda's, the thing is, he's in Pacific time because he's in California. So him trying to make it, he might be able to make it tomorrow night. So I'd say pick him as well. It's a hit and miss for him because he's got, once he gets home, it's like around about 6 his time and 10 p.m. Eastern our time. So it's like, it's going to be difficult for him. But I'd say probably pick him just to be on the safe side because knowing him, he'll end up turning up. Another guy I would. It's
and you're probably going to hit
with
the
him.
second guy I wanted to ask you with. So a new guy
Probably
that you guys have recently picked up. So I noticed this guy and I saw him come aboard in our chat and I said, who the hell is this guy? And then I started looking at his stats. So I wanted to ask you about Red X Black Star, who was a Super Unicum on New Beginning.
Yes. I would say I want to give a big shout out to him because he's been a rock at the moment for MB. Since
And
he
a 3-marked
came
conk,
came
by
in.
the way, that I noticed.
Exactly. And he's got a 3-marked M103, so don't forget that. But as we know, M103s aren't a comp tank, even though you might see him in now and again, which is quite strange. But yeah, Red X, I'd say I would guarantee him being picked because he's going to be one of my regular guys now, especially for the, Wednesday fight matches, also for our training and everything. So I'd say definitely pick him. if you haven't picked him, I'd ask why, because he does perform really well. You know, he came from NT to Nation Tankers originally, and we thought, well, you know, he left that clan. We thought we'd go and pick him up, and hey presto, he's joined us, and he's been there. He's been one of our star players. So I'd say definitely pick him if you haven't picked him.
So if you were going to play, so if you were going to, if I said to you the same thing I said to Ifer and I do, if I said, hey, I'm going to bet you I'm going to bet you $100 these 3 players are going to do better than your 3 players. Who would be your 3 players off a New Beginning?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. Oh man, that's
Oh
a
no,
tough one,
I'm sorry.
man.
I was talking to Raging.
He was talking to
I was
me.
offering up the same
Oh, my bad.
question.
Oh.
That's okay.
The damage.
You know
Now
what? I'll
that's-
take your pick too if you want to pick 3 tankers.
Not really, but I will. I don't want to give all my secrets away on live.
Oh no. That's a good question, Pants. Now, because what's been happening at late, if any streamers have been seeing MB play, especially in these matches and on Wednesday night fights, it's been a various sort of thing. You know, sometimes I produce the most damage, like especially when we were in bronze. You know, especially my Conqueror, I was able to do over 3,000 damage. You know, but at the moment, as we're doing 768, it could be various. I'd probably say for the top 3 though, probably Redix Blackstar. He's one, definite one. Another one, I'd say Mythic Monster. He's another, and I'll probably bet myself. That's the 3rd pick. But I say it's various. You know.
So I
it's
want to
very
bring up
hard.
one more point. I want to bring up
Go
one more
on.
point, and actually, Valto just mentioned this in the Twitch chat. And Valto says, "When did TR Forza join New Beginning?" And I know kind of a story behind this, so I'm going to let Raging go with it because I'm just going to give you everybody this little tidbit of knowledge. New Beginning and Nightmare share the same Discord, so our main Discord channel is with New Beginning in it.
I agree. Now, TR Forza. Now, people have, as I've noticed, Volto has said it on the Twitch channel. Chat. I'd say he's not going to be turning up tomorrow night, so I wouldn't even bother picking him. The way we got him, that was just literally checking on the forums. He posted up that he was looking for a small clan. Yes, he is a super unicorn player, and as you've probably noticed, this WN8 is so high. Problem is, his times are a little bit different to most players that are in MB. So he will probably show up now and again, but not very often. So he's a bit of a hit and miss at the moment. I've still tried to get him on Discord, but I haven't managed to, be able to bump into him yet, because he's been playing at different times than me. But probably shortly, I'll probably get him on Discord and everything, because he is a very top player. It's just a shame he won't be turning up tomorrow night. It's just a shame he won't be turning up tomorrow night.
Absolutely, and that's why I want to touch on that real quick, because being aware of the situation, and he's a high pick, and he would have been a high pick for a lot of people, and that is why everybody should be aware that if I were you guys, I would not pick TR to show up tomorrow. Keep that in mind as you're picking your rosters. And real quick, I'm just going to have Raging run back down just a couple of players that he thinks will be playing tomorrow. And like I said, for all the stream viewers earlier in the show, I'm going to say it again. So tonight, just to recap what we've had Sir Tubbins come in here and talk about Immortals, and he is going to be doing the calling tomorrow. Then you had Cutter, who's still with us right now, but he's the leader of On Your Six, and he's going to be doing calling tomorrow. From Nightmare, you have myself, Wits, and MVG that will be doing the calling. And from UGCC, you have Cav Ranger. And he did mention somebody else is going to be doing the call that may call, but Cav Ranger is going to be your main caller. And from Eye for an Eye, you have Deuces, who's going to be calling. And from New Beginning, you have Raging Warrior, who's going to be calling. And the reason I'm telling you guys all this is because callers are probably going to play all the games if everybody else already doesn't. And with that, I'm going to go back over to Raging so he can just kind of recap some of his players.
All right, thank you, Vance. Just to touch though what you mentioned just there, that I'm going to be mainly calling tomorrow. May not be calling all tomorrow. I will probably be letting Stinger do a couple of calls. So I'd say
there you
probably
go.
have Stinger on your list. You know, yes, I do most of the main calling, but Stinger does help me out now and again. So I'd say probably a safe bet is we'll have Stinger on your list. If you haven't done so, I'd do it now. But for the main guys that'll probably be showing up tomorrow, that will definitely be on your picks. Myself, Mythic Monster, Radix Blackstar, Stinger, Rage Sharmonk, yeah, he'll be there as well. Zach's Music Box, Death Dealer, and all that is. Those are the main guys that will probably be turning up tomorrow.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. If you want to hang out with us, you're more than welcome to hang out with us. And if any questions do arise, definitely have you answer them. And with that, I think Cutter wanted to go over some things real quick on the site. However, I will be right back in just 2 minutes. I really need to take a little potty break, so I will be right back. My controller doesn't reach that part of the house, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
That's fine.
Guys, what I want to run through real quick is I want to run through Nightmare, UDCC, MB, and Eye for an Eye. Some of these guys that don't have the higher win rates for recents. These are all from what I see week to week, 3 times a week watching these streams, man. Some of your better value picks. Starting with Nightmare, I really like Pants on the Ground, Sentient Undies, IR Dirt Rider if he shows up, and Premium Spammer. Those are all guys that get a lot of play time.
Wits, 57 heavy or an E4.
Yeah. Don't forget
these
Wits.
guys are putting out damage week to week. For
MV.
UGCC, some of your better, probably just everybody that's going to be below uni here lately. ACG, Astro, obviously Zartek, Cav Ranger, Mr. I Know It, or Mr. 101T. Those 4 guys are going to be really good value picks for anything that is below Unicom. Now moving on to New Blood, I really like Raging Warrior, especially with the call too.
Oh,
you know, you've
can
got
I
to almost put him on there.
interrupt you? You just said New Blood. It's New Beginnings. Just to remind
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry, New Beginnings. My bad.
No,
Okay,
it's
guys.
fine. It's
Still
fine.
got the tournament in my head. All
Yeah.
that is, I've seen him do some good amount of play time. Obviously, probably the number 1 pick for New Beginnings that you need on your list is going to be Mythic Monster, 2100 recents right now, but he's playing realistically probably at somebody that's running about a 3100 in comp play. So he's a real good pick. Rage Shaolin Monk, you've got to have him on your team. If the box makes it, you've got to have the box. Stinger, cold body count, those would probably be what I would round it out with. Now, going in and looking at Eye for an Eye, a lot of good guys in here too. Deuces, you need Deuces, you need HK in there. I like both of those, and then Michael was already touched on, so you know that kind of closes everything out. But
one thing I do want to touch on that I did forget is USMC Chevy will not be playing. I don't remember if I said that. Some people got him list on Fantasy, but he will not be in comp matches due to schedule.
okay, that's fair. But those guys that I listed, you know, we're out here every week, a couple times a week. Just okay, cold body count won't be there as well. It looks like, so you might want to go ahead and scratch him. But yeah, I've seen all these guys in action. These guys play really good comp battles, and they're always good for probably 1.5k or more. So if you know everybody, it's pretty easy to pick your super unis and your unis, but after that, some of these guys with lower recents, man, they can really get in there and surprise you and give you a good couple of boost points in the end. But other than
Yeah,
that,
and one thing I want to touch on from New Beginning, and I didn't mention this earlier, and I meant to mention this, but I got wrapped up in what I was currently doing. From New Beginning, you're probably going to see, if you see a light tanker, it's probably going to be Zach's music box. If they run a light tanker,
Yes.
and once again, I can't guarantee you they're going to, but if you see one, it's going to be Zach.
I'll just touch on that though. We do various between an 8 and 2 tier 9s. So yeah, Zach would be my main light tanker for the time being. But we may change that. We may not even have a light tank tomorrow. So we're just second guessing at the moment. All depends, what we do in training and everything before tomorrow. But I'd say probably if we're going to be running 2 tier 9s and if there's like 2 bat chats, I'd say Zach's music box and Ray's Shallow Monk. I'd say those two are probably your main picks, especially for those 2 tier 9s. But it could all change. So, because we're such a new clan, it's quite various because we're still trying to get that main 10, but that won't be happening until some time. Just because we're still bringing in new people and everything into the clan. But definitely, I'd say probably have Rage and Zach as on your list because they'll be definitely playing tomorrow.
So I had a question on the stream from BD409. He asked if OPS is playing and we have lasers. Now, I did hear Cutter say that we have lasers, should be there tomorrow. Am I correct?
yeah, he will be in the lobby. Probably guaranteed to run him at least one battle. But I did get somebody that hasn't been in my lineup here lately that just got his E5 back is Silly Calf, and Silly Calf is an absolute monster in the E5. But lasers will be playing at least one battle. I don't.
And for anybody that's reading the chat, that is Nerd Kisses Girls.
Yeah, Nerd Kisses Girls will be benched tomorrow. He didn't finish his homework. Hasn't been cleaning his room, so yeah.
And to touch on the OPS K19, he's a starting player for Nightmare. He's a core guy. He's a starting player. He is a UK guy, for those of you who are not aware. He is a UK guy, but oddly enough, kind of like Raging Warrior you see here, he tends to make it to the late games. So you should expect to see him tomorrow. And definitely play some games. Can't guarantee you he's going to play them all, but I'll guarantee he's going to play at least 1 or 2. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5, however many we end up going.
Also, I just want to touch a note there. I've noticed that Creamy popped in and said Cold won't be there either.
That is correct.
No, he's taken a massive break from competitive play. So he may play pub matches now and again, but from competitive play, I wouldn't even bother trying to choose him because he won't be there whatsoever. He hasn't turned up for a couple of weeks now. So due to the fact he's got a lot of problems at home, which he needs to sort those things out and everything. So at the moment, he won't be in any matches until he lets us know.
Yeah.
And BD also says that OPS played a lot of ranked battles and he's good. Yes, he is good. He's definitely a very good player, and he's definitely a very good pick. If you guys tuned in to the Wednesday Night Fights 2 versus 2 tournament that took place about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that now, if I think about this. If you tuned into that tournament, me and OPS K19 were partners for that tournament, and we ended up winning. We won in the finals versus Segmented Dig and Rising Devil. So yeah, he's definitely a good pick. And on that note, does anybody else that's in here have anything they'd like to add? I know we've heard from Raging. I know we've heard from Deuces. And we have Leech in here, and we have Hells in here, if you guys would care to add anything.
Go ahead, Leech, if you have anything, and then I have mine.
Matchups sound pretty good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. UGCC, they've been practicing a lot lately. They're looking pretty decent. Maybe a little work to do. Immortals, haven't seen them in a while personally, but they're always a force to be reckoned with, especially if they're on their game. On your six, out of the shadows as of the last month or two, they're looking great again. Happy to see them back. Nightmare, up and coming team, continues to rise. I like what I see there. MB, it's nice to see a sister team get involved in a Wednesday night fight match. Eye for an Eye, I actually would say that I'm a partial Eye for an Eye fanboy. Looking forward to see those guys play. Yeah,
And I just
probably one of the better Wednesday night fight matchups coming up. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely got us on our toes. We try to stay on our toes, you know. One thing I did want to clarify though is Redneck Bison will playing. He's confirmed that. Great guy, known him forever. But yeah, he had some schedule issues that had happened recently, so he had missed a couple matches here and there. But I just want to confirm that he is playing. Everybody listening with their picks.
And that brings us back
just
to the man
noticed-
himself. Oh, go ahead, Rager.
Go
Go
on.
ahead.
I've just noticed on the stream that Steel Titan's been mentioned. Now I know that guy quite well. I used to have him in one of my old clans, so I'm probably expecting him to see him tomorrow night. Especially as a
Yes, Tubbins did say earlier in the stream that Steel Titan was a definite maybe. He's definitely a great tanker. He's one of the best in the game. In my opinion, he is one of the best in the game. He really is. Great tanker, good guy. So yeah, he I guess you're gonna have to
He'll be a
ask
good pick.
Tubbins as it gets closer to time. He said if you wanted to, go ahead and message him, and he'll be as honest and straightforward with you as he can be. And he would definitely be a great Super Unicum pick. And I guess
I'll
that
probably just get
brings us
hold of
back to
Titan
the
himself.
yeah, or there you go. If he's willing to answer that question for you, absolutely. and that brings us back to the man himself, the guy who organized, created, and runs Wednesday night fights. And really, I don't think Hells gets enough credit for what he does. He's the man that puts this all together for you on a week in and week out basis. And he's doing this for the community. And we'll turn it over to him.
Thank you there, Pants. Big shout out for Pants from the Wednesday Night Fight crew. He had this idea. He's been wanting to talk about it and bring it out. And I'm like, you know what? Pants, you're a good friend. I played against you. I played with you. You have good standing and everything. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Oh, crap shot.
Thank you, sir.
But it's one of those. This whole new territory that we're going into. This is. I'm consider this a test bed really fast. Do this so fast.
Yes, me as well.
I want to take this, and we're going to go to the next step with it. I mean, you Wednesday Night Fights is always push the bar and push the bar. You know, we adapted the 10-100. No one else was rolling 10-100, so we stuck with it. And you could tell I cannot play tanks and talk at the same time. So
Neither can I.
I'm watching you, though.
But any which way, so this has always been the way to get ahead. We all, you know, it's one of those, if you could do this, if you could, you know, find a way to figure out, to highlight those players, just not in remembrance. Well, this is it. This is the ticket. I want to expand on this. I've talked to Pants about it, that this deserves to have so much coming to it. That going on, I'm going to use this as way, and everybody will remember this. Back in the day, WNF gave out MVP codes to the guys that did the great this evenings. So what I'm going to start doing is we had to revamp the MVP. We were handing out codes left and right, and a lot of people got stuck. I only did 476, but I killed a bat chat. But it's one of those. I want to bring this to the next level. So, with this in mind, the MVP codes are coming back, and the way we're going to be doing this is I'm going to be bringing in a mod that would be sitting in the room. He'd be writing down, doing fast snapshots, and it will have its own channel. This is going to take, yeah, I know, 476. Yeah. But I killed the bat chat that was going to go kill my NFTG brethren. So hey, great looking out. I had a good 5K damage game before that. But in which way? So we're going to start utilizing this fantasy draft, and it's going to start being used a lot more. This fantasy tanks. The MVP codes will be handed out to the highest points for the week, and then also me and the WNF staff are in the works with Wargaming. This is one thing that I want to bring up to them, is I want to start having this. So I would handle the aspect of the people that would run the front progress, for the players, and then I would have Pants be taken care of. I mean, for the big launch out, yeah, we got a tier 8 premium tank. You can't beat that. You just can't beat that. But
especially New Swedish.
Yeah, and the timing. Oh my God! And here's the funny thing: we all in WNF and Pants were talking about dates, and this was early in the very beginnings of this, and we started dropping hints. And Pants was in talks with us that he picked October 4th. And who would have thought the big giant coincidences that at the same exact time, these groundbreaking tanks are going to be coming out, and you'll be able to have one for free. And you don't have to spend a dime. The only thing you had to do was spend 5 to 10 minutes. But I know a lot more people in here. I bet you BD 409 right now has at least 3 hours of studying underneath his belt already. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you're gonna have, like, I know Cutter. He's probably a master at this and got at least 10.5 hours. So gold medal over to Cutter, because that man has been studying analytics for like 2 weeks now and has been talking about this experience coming. If you wanna know the back cheering section, the back supporter. And a huge backer of Wednesday Night Fights. I mean, and I to all of my staff. I mean, to Kill You, to Pants, to Beaver, of course, Anarchy, Nerve. Oh my God, Akiwaza, Dexter, Happy Gilmore. He's always a big help. Here, I'll pull up the whole listing so I don't get in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hear you there.
Lady Death. Omega Reaver, who I want to straight out really fast. I dropped this message, and Pants can contest for this, at 4 o'clock, about 3:50-ish. I dropped a thing in the staff saying I want something drawn up for the memorial. And Omega.
Yep.
And I'll pull it up even. Let me shut down this one. So Omega did this for me in a record-breaking time. Okay, he got it to me almost an hour ahead so I could be able to plan. But Omega did that from 3:50 up until about 5. I got it at like 5:30. Let me confirm times here. But that was sent at 5:57 is when I received that dedication and tribute. So he watches the show, not live all the time, but he still watches it. So Omega, you're the man. I don't have anything else to say about that. You're the man. And so, I mean, and then going around back to what we were talking about here is, so we're going to be also a new Wednesday night person coming in onto the into the family. This person is in the party, Mr. Person. If you want to say hello and say who you are so everybody knows, a new addition to the WNF family.
Yeah, I've known Beaver and Hells for a long time now. Big fan of the show. Member of DP, lots of appearances. I thought I've got some ideas coming down the pipes, so I thought I'd bring them towards Hell's attention. Hell brought me on board, so myself, Leech, is very pleased to join the group. And yeah, like I said, I got a couple ideas that I know the community's really going to enjoy. And as soon as we smooth out the details, we'll hopefully have something for you.
Yes, sir.
Very shortly here, and if not, definitely in the new year.
Yes.
So believe me, trust me, folks. Really looking forward to this. Really excited about it. It's the next step for Wednesday night fights. The fantasy draft will totally, completely have its mark and place for this particular idea. I have the rankings that go on right now with. I'll give you a little sneak peek with the current Friday or Wednesday night fight rankings as they are now will mean that much more. You will be playing for a purpose. Every time you play, those rankings will hold merit. That's as far as I'm going to take it for now. But looking forward to working with these guys. Great group of guys. Happy to be here. Yeah, and make sure you check us out tomorrow or Friday night. I'm going to play SKB 761. We haven't been on the stream for a while, so we're happy to climb out of our hole and hopefully give you guys a good show. But thanks very much for having me, Hells. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you guys. This is going to be fun.
Hell yeah. DP's been working down in a deep dark basement somewhere. I know this is happening.
Hibernation.
Hibernating. Hibernating, and you built
absolutely nothing.
And you built. I bet you built a friggin' a nuke. You got a little tactical nuke that you built down there that no one's gonna know about. So you're gonna come out and drop the bomb.
We're gonna definitely drop a bomb. That's for sure for the Wednesday night fight viewers. Friday night.
So, everybody needs sleep at some point. Hells, hey man, I've had a lot of Red Bull tonight and getting my second win. So yeah, back to what we're doing. So Pants, with this doing this with the fantasy draft. So with the MVPs, we're going to be bringing that in, and then I'm talking within the new year. In the next 4 months, the face of playing tanks is going to change. There's never been...
So one thing I want to...
Go ahead.
One thing I do want to touch on, for everybody that's still listening out there, what I'm going to try to do tomorrow, obviously I'm not going to be around for the Nightmare versus UGCC match. You know, I'm not a fan of spectating and commentating on my team versus another. So what I'm going to do, I'll be there playing in that game, but after that game and before that game, during the On Your 6 versus Immortals match, I will try to keep everybody informed as to who's in the lead and where you all stand as far as your picks go. I do have a spreadsheet that's made. I do have it as an easy to use feature where I can just punch in numbers, and once your guys' rosters are all locked, I'll be able to sort and query all the fields to give me a snapshot, quick like, to determine who's in the lead, who's got the best roster, and I'll try to keep everybody updated as best I can. Obviously, coming back from my own match, it's going to be a little bit tougher to get caught back up, but shortly thereafter, I'll get back on the stream for the New Beginning versus Eye for an Eye match, and I'll keep everybody up to date as I can and letting you all know, and hopefully by the last game, I will be able to kind of give you an idea of who's still in contention, double check the math, double check the pictures, and hopefully before the stream's over, you'll have a winner.
Sounds great, Pants. It absolutely does. And this is why, full trust with you. This is your baby, and I'm excited to present your baby to the world. So everybody, I hope you guys.
Honestly, it was a really great idea, man. It's super cool. I'm digging it.
It's something different that's never been done before in World of Tanks. It kind of has in a sense, if you look at WCL when they did it, but it wasn't down to the player by player basis. It was down to the team versus team fantasy, if you will. Looking at it now, this was, and of course, there was always a lot of questions about this and about how this is going to work and how this wouldn't work and how it will work. One of the main ideas behind this right now is this is the first time it's ever been done. So there may be some things looking at it the first time through to say, you know what, maybe we should have done this instead. Maybe we should do this instead. And that's why, as a test run, it'll kind of give us a good idea of where we have to go from here, what we can change to do a little bit differently, what went good, what didn't go good, what do we got to do next time. And really, that's what tomorrow is all about.
All right, guys. So yeah, we're going to be doing some tried and true out of this. I mean, yet again, everything has a beginning, and we will definitely work on this. It's, as everything, it will have some of its growing pains, and it will have some of its problems. But you know what? My staff, I have full confidence in that they will. That they will hand it diligently and professionally to make sure everything is good. Pants, was there anything else you wanted to say before this is over?
So one more time before we log off of the stream, I would encourage everybody, if anybody that's listening out there, anybody that listens to this before tomorrow, anything at all, I would encourage you all to just double check the rules and just make sure that you're following the protocol. Like I said, if you've got 4 super unicums, well, that's not going to work.
Yes.
That's an invalid lineup. So make sure, best advice I can give you, when the roster's locked right up to game time, I would just run through your roster again and double check. And just make sure that your roster is valid, because if you've got too many super unicums, you're going to get disqualified. If you've got too many unicums, you're going to get disqualified. And once again, if you're not looking at it right now, it's 3. It's 3 super unicums. 3 unicums.
One thing I want to add, in my opinion, real
Mm-hmm.
quickly, is, and I think Cutter kind of touched on this, just kind of said it in a different way. A lot of these stats on walklands.br are pub stats.
And you are
Pub
absolutely
matches.
100% correct. Yes,
Pub
sir.
matches are a big influence in deciding who plays, who doesn't plays, or who joins your team, who doesn't join your team, so on and so forth. They hold a lot of merit. But when it really comes down to playing competitively, it really comes down to experience, your composure, and your ability to play alongside your teammates. So sleeper picks, value picks. Yeah, some guys are just having bad weeks. I mean, it's in your best interest to really do your research for
Absolutely,
these
and that's why
respected players playing tomorrow. Absolutely, yeah.
if you've watched
So
the
just keep that
streams,
in mind.
all these teams have been playing on the streams now for quite some time. And if you go back and you watch some of these matches, for instance, Nightmare played last night. We played last night versus SBA in the 10 p.m. game. If you want some good intel on what you're going to see from us, go back and watch that game. We played 36 Panzer last week, Wednesday night. You want some good intel on what you're going to see? Once again, you'll see it there. The week before that, we played eye for an eye. You want to see some good intel on both teams? You got it right there. And another way I look at that too, and touching on that same point that Leach just made. So for you guys out there that have ever played like Madden or any other type of sports game, and the one I can really relate to right now is Madden. We all know that we like to go pick a team, and you have that favorite receiver of yours, and the guy's rated like a 50 or a 60. But the guy's got like 99 speed, so you just send him out there and he does flies, and next thing you know, by the time the next season rolls around, the guy's like a 99 overall. But he wasn't a 99 overall when you picked him. If that makes sense to all of you guys right now, and what I'm trying to say here is just because somebody's WN8 isn't Super Unicum, isn't Unicum, is great, very good, whatever it may be, try to do a little bit of research on who plays and what they've been doing in a competition game. Because let's be honest, 15 on 15 and 7 versus 7 are two entirely different things. They're two entirely different metas. They're two entirely different aspects of the game. We've all played pubs. We all know what pub's about, and we all know sometimes you got to just think to yourself, some of these guys that are playing out there, no offense to anybody, have an IQ of about 12. When you're getting ruined and everybody's sitting behind you just watching it unfold as you're just dying in a great spot to try to set everybody else up.
Like me.
Versus in a competition game.
Just now.
If you're watching the stream, exactly what I'm talking about. And if you get into a 7-on-7 competition game on a competition team, you're going to be told this is where you're going to go. This is what you're going to do. And this is what we want you to do. And it's just a whole different aspect. Because you can't teach teamwork. Teamwork is something you develop. When I say you can't teach teamwork, you can't gel a team. You can't teach that, is what I really mean. It's something that comes. It comes together after playing together for a long time. It comes when you know this guy, you know what to expect. Exactly. It comes naturally. It comes naturally to gel. And that's where these guys come in and they start doing their damage. Or you have this guy that doesn't have the best WN8 recently overall, whatever it is. And this guy comes out and he puts up 2,000 damage or 1,500 damage, all because he was doing exactly what he was told to do. He's shooting the tank he's supposed to shoot at. He's hitting the tank he's supposed to shoot at. And he's not the biggest threat to the enemy team right now because they said, oh, Jesus, there's Cutter. Let's get him out of the game right now. They're going to sacrifice themselves to get shot by this guy who's got a lower WN8, but he's putting in damage because nobody's worried about him right now. That's some of the things you see. And the other reason we used overall, and just to explain a little bit about this, the reason we didn't use overall is because that wouldn't be entirely fair. If you had, for instance, and I'll give you a good one here. You take a guy like iPure Nonsense, who's playing at a Super Unicum level. Guy's only got like I believe 17 or 1800 overall WN8. Just because the guy's played a lot of games and his WN8 isn't the highest doesn't mean he hasn't turned himself into a great player, but he's played so many games, it's tough to bring that number up, and we all know that. That's why we didn't go off of overall. We went off of recent. So
can I just say something before you
go ahead.
carry on?
Yes, sir.
I've got to leave now because training for my clan is going ahead, so
Absolutely.
I've got to go and must attend to see how people are getting on. But thank you for inviting me to this chat. Oh yeah, because both of us are training at the moment. Both our clans are training.
Yes, sir. MVG's calling us.
Yes.
It's all good.
Yeah, I expect Sting is calling for me. So yes. But yeah, thanks for inviting me to this chat, guys. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, any streamers that are watching, please watch tomorrow night's matches. There will be very good ones. I can tell you that now. But for now, thank you for guys. We'll speak to you later.
Have a good night, sir.
Take it
Cheers,
easy.
buddy.
Andrew,
Good luck tomorrow, man.
Easy.
take it easy.
Take it
you.
easy, buddy.
The one last part I want to touch on in this whole thing. So another reason that I didn't just say, you know what, just pick whoever you want for the 15 tankers this first time through is because I wanted to get as many people from all different skill levels involved. So you're not going to necessarily be picking, unless you really watch the stream and you really know, you would see everybody picking all super unicums and just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to grab this guy, I'm going to grab that guy, I'm going to grab this guy because they're all super unicums. You wouldn't see any very good recent picks. You wouldn't see any great. I mean, you would if somebody that's been watching the stream, you would. But for the general player that hasn't been watching the stream, those aren't the picks you're going to see. They're going to say, oh,
Right.
look at all these guys off of On Your 6. Look at all these guys off of Mortals. You know, look at these guys from UGCC, from Nightmare. Look at the top guys from Eye for an Eye or New Beginning. You're not going to see the rest of these guys getting picked. So that was another reason behind it, really. Next time going through, maybe there won't be a cap on who you pick, and just pick whoever you want. Or maybe it'll be a live draft where a certain amount of people show up, you get a draft, and you just say, I own this guy, I'll trade you for this guy, or I'll trade you for these two, or whatever it may be. That's something you may ultimately see. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
anybody
would-
else
excited,
want to,
man. This is
go
gonna
ahead.
be good. Yeah, this is gonna be good, man. It's another element that once again the community is bringing to you. You know, and that says a lot. So, like I think we touched on this earlier. I mean, it's gonna be a bit of a process. This is the first one, right? Pants. This is the first one you've done.
Yeah, this will be the first time, as far as I know, that this has ever happened.
Well, I mean,
I've
PC
never seen
does
it on
have-
PC, so I
They
don't know.
they now just had something launch, just now. So
Yeah, PC does it, but in terms of console, this has never been done. I know that for sure. This, you know, this is borderline mainstream. No pun intended.
no, I mean, yeah, you want
So,
stuff like this to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So, stuff like this happens when stuff starts going professionally, and this is the key here. I wouldn't. I believe this much into this community and stuff. We've built this community from what it was, a lot of trolliness, a lot of kind of craziness. You know, picking on each other or straight up pissing each other off to the very end of who's the best, who's not the best, and stuff like that, and taking it to the next step. That's what this is all about. I mean, I have no flipping gun depression. There we go. But I think this is the next big step in our progression and with everything, so it could. Ouch! Good shot. To help us get even farther in the esports series. So definitely big shout outs, big and big thank yous to Pants for putting this on for us. I have to say huge for the community, and I'm glad that Ripper Rooney, I'm Squish. Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry. Any which way, back to what I was saying. We always want to grow more and more and more here. And the community has put so much time, so much effort, so much money into this game that who wants to go to the next step? Who wants esports to go, World Tanks go pro? Who wants to start putting on LAN tournaments? I do. I do.
Absolutely, and I think that's the main goal for all.
Sounds good to me.
And one thing you look at is and you look at it from kind of a business point of view too, is you got to make it something where people can kind of interact or people can get behind it. And it'd be great to see all these clans. There's so many clans out there that aren't even involved or probably don't even know about this. That you're trying to reach them all. They might hear about it and be like, oh yeah, but really have no idea about it.
Well, and
And
a true believer here is okay. So Wednesday night fights. We're bringing in, well, just like Acorn, just like here soon, it will be the Wounded Warrior Project, and also in coordination with TLP, we're going to be bringing I'd have to say, the first major sponsor to a show for World of Tanks, and that's Monster Energy. There's a lot on the table already to be brought from Monster for this community, and that will be the start. Coca-Cola, they're in the works right now, and then also working on Pepsi, trying to get those main ones. But the world of tanks is changing so rapidly. WCL is in coordination with Wargaming and with Microsoft. That's why everybody's been doing these test runs, getting the bugs out. This is wrong and this is wrong. I couldn't get my whole roster in. Shit happens. Okay, those bugs have been noted, and we gotta learn how to grow. We have to crawl before we run, and so a lot of people are like, "Well, it's been 3 years." How long did it take Call of Duty to get where it's at? A lot more than 3 years. So,
yeah, I would agree.
the fantasy tanks and fantasy draft, I will try. I will fund this as much. Don't let them restrict it, hells. That's the beauty of Wednesday Night Fights. We still utilize a tool, but here's my thing. My promises to the community: 1, bring you solid quality stream. Period. 2, to bring you the best matches to fight. 3, to uphold the code of conduct and ethics. It's becoming a business, guys, and we got to watch what we say, watch what we do, and how we troll.
And while we're on this subject, I saw you mention something today about Friday night stream. You want to mention that to any of the viewers out there?
Yes, so this Friday we will be having art devs come on live. You'd be able to ask him questions live on stream. He does not know about the new buffs. You know, he doesn't know about all of the stuff. But if you have art questions for you art lovers, that would be awesome. He was part of the whole rink battles. I know he had a lot of part in that. And we're trying to bring more and more wargaming into Wednesday Night Fights. They are with WCL also. So we're trying diligently to get that done. And it was confirmed WNF will be in Chicago October 20th of this month. I have written down all of your guys' questions, and Rybot is finding out for us about doing the live stream interview with the devs right there in front of us, right in front of you. No wargaming cameras, no, this would be all from my phone. And holy crap, we pulled it out. That medium, wow. But yeah, so your concerns are our concerns. We're in Chicago. It's I don't know if their address is still the same. It's the OP phone stream. Well, I have the unlimited data package and a badass phone. So, Tanks, there he is right there. He'd be coming in on Friday. Tanks, it's correct. You're one of the art devs. Waiting for everybody right there. Tanks, Tank with the Z. He's one of the guys who be coming in there, and then let's see here. We're in Chicago. It's called the Chicago Baltimore. It's somewhere downtown. That I can find out a little bit more. So maybe we'll WNF. I'll get some. I tell you what, I'll do a tweet out. And also something out on Discord. I'll say where we're at in Chicago. If you find us, I'll get you hooked up with some swag. Maybe I'll get you a paracord, some paracord wrist bracelet thing for your watches. I'm gonna try to take up some T-shirts. So we'll tweet where we're at if we have time to do it. Yeah, we'll have no problems giving away some free swag on that aspect. I just want to say thank you to Pants and Leech and everybody that's here, to giving you, the community, their time out of work, away from their families and everything, and away from everything that they do in real life, to do this for us. I want to say thank you to you guys.
You're welcome, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem
Glad
at
to
all.
be here.
And okay, so Tank's just involved with live game new features. I'm not creating art just yet. Okay, there we go, Tanks. There's the answer right there from Tanks. As he says, he's getting there. So he will be live on stream. I am trying, and I mean I'm on my knees begging to get somebody to come on Wednesday night for the fantasy draft. I'm hitting up Serpia. I'm hitting up Rybot. I mean, if Tanks, if you could do a ping for me, or I know me and you had a long talk the other night, but it's I used to. I hope you don't mind me naming the Naked Cat versus Bald Beaver. Yes. Oh, for all the people that it was in there, in the Wednesday Night Fight server, if you want to get back into that room, I did set it so only appropriate audiences can get there. So if you're Team Beaver, remember, ping me that you want into that room, and I will get you the proper tag. I just have to verify, just not any person is able to get up in there. I have to at least know you. So do this little fact up. I don't want a 12-year-old up there talking in our room. Yeah, I know you and Rez have taken over. So yeah, what they got going on? You got Team Hells versus Team Hellcat. You got your Naked Kitties versus your Bald Beavers. Your best pick wins. That person wins a $10 Microsoft card from me personally. Let's see here. I think we had it set out through this coming up weekend. Weekend after? I don't know. It's one of those. So, yeah, if you want to get back in that room, just let me know. I'll get you the tags. But yeah, that's nerves. Sorry, guys. I have a lot of questions going across the Twitch chat here, and then also over there at YouTube. Thank you all the people that came out over on YouTube. You guys are the best community. I mean, this has been pretty amazing. Pants, I know Was there any other highlights that you did want to pick out during this?
I think that I think we pretty well covered everything tonight as far as what you should need to know about tomorrow's event. I'm excited, I really am. And remember, tomorrow at noon, all these stats are locked.
Oh,
So
noon. I've been telling
what you
people an
see at
hour
noon
before. I'm so
tomorrow-
sorry. So yeah, noon.
No,
We-
your roster is locked
Oh,
at
okay.
an hour before game time. The stats for all the players are not subject to change because that will update a couple times a day.
Mhm.
At the noon update, that's it. It is what it is right there for stats. So after that, they won't change. But you can edit your roster or add a roster in there all the way up to 7 p.m. And at that point, at 7:01, I will take no more entries.
Sounds great.
So yeah, you are correct. You are correct with,
Okay,
with 7
sweet.
p.m.
I thought I had a heart attack because I didn't want to break anything.
you
Oh
are
Lord.
correct.
Whew. So yeah, definitely do that. On a serious note, we are be sending flowers to Beaver if you're interested in pitching $1, $2 to it. I will be getting that link out there for you. That is to help the Beaver Fund with all the tragedy that's happened in his household. All the replays will be coming up tonight. This will be replayed. So the 10-minute showing of the memorial will be replayed. Then after that will be tonight's episode. And then after that will be scheduled up will be Monday. And then prospectively for all you late nighters just getting on here, checking out what's going on, all you late nighters, it'd be a weekend review that will be going all night long. So we're going to start having shows going 24/7 except for respected people are like Weasel. Congratulations to Weasel also for getting that senior technical advisor, Presidente El Comando, whatever medal that was, for researching.
Pretty awesome. That takes some work.
Yeah. For researching all the tanks, and he's never used one dime of money to free experiences away. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That is brutal.
That's
That
a
is
lot of
absolutely
things.
brutal, though.
Yeah. So that's dedication. I mean, I still have like 10 lines to finish. So, eesh. But other than that, Deuce, do you have anything else to say here, there, sir?
No, not at all. Just glad to be a part of this, and if there's any way that Ifer and I can help at all with anything, you just give us a shout, man. We'll be there.
Oh, you guys did awesome
Always
for
glad
the
to be a part
tribute.
of it.
The tribute for VGA. Yet again, that is also up for viewing if you want to check out the tribute that was dedicated to Derek. I know this. I make this promise. This week has been sad. It's been very somber around the parts in Discord. I can tell. So I make a promise. The tempo's going to turn upbeat. We have a lot of things coming down the pipe for you guys. This it's just scratching the surface and starting us out on a new beginning in life, if there's a pun. Shut up, Stinger. It's all uphill from here.
Must agree.
Well, Pants, you know what? This show was all
Yes, sir.
all about you, and you have the control of the button through me to stop this. So I'll let you do. Typically, I do closing thoughts. This is all yours, sir. You deserve it. Go ahead and do your closing thoughts for the night. Unless
For
Leech had
anybody
said
out there
something.
still listening, For anybody out there still listening, I want to say thank you for listening in. Truly, I'm excited about tomorrow. I can't wait to see how these teams play. As we all know, there's a lot of good teams playing tomorrow. With that said, I just want to thank everybody that's been supportive of this idea. Thank you for everybody for coming out and listening. And especially, I want to thank all the captains, and especially those that came out tonight and talked to us and took time out of their busy schedules and their days to come in here and talk. So I want to say thank you to Cutter. I want to say thank you to Sir Tubbins, Raging Warrior, Cav Ranger, I for an Eye Deuces. Also want to say thank you for coming out tonight, Hells, and doing this stream on an off night. Usually you're off on Tuesday nights. And I also want to say thank you to Leech for coming out tonight and being with us and doing some commentary as well. And thank you everybody for listening.
Most definitely. Alrighty, guys. I'm Elscat Death. That was Pants, along with Leech, Deuces. As always, Creamies in the tube. Roll out.